who wanted him here as a permanent fixture. Quick check on the Halifax team. Wilson, Sharp, Hutchinson, Austin and Preston, Watson and Harkin, Harrison, Southernwood, Bell, Lord, Fieldhouse and Pearce. Hull Kingston Rovers, their team. Fletcher, Cook, Hallis, Lydiot and Sodji, McCarthy and Parker, Harrison, Poe, Jackson, Fletcher, Lyman and Speckman. That's the way the two sides line up. And this man in the middle is Ray Tennant from Castleford, 42 years old, 5 years on the Grade 1 list in Rugby League. We're live and exclusive from Thrum Hall, and Hull Kingston Rovers get us underway in a match vital to both sides. First touch for Warren Wilson, the fullback. This big Halifax pack could well have the advantage for the home side tonight, Mike.
Well, they've certainly got the quality and the class. The Rovers, of course, they'll want to get in mixed it very early indeed, trying to get some quick points on the board to upset them.
Harkin's kick ahead, charge down. Warren Wilson was there to sweep up the damage. Harkin, the captain and inspiration to this Halifax side, back under the charge of Roger Millwood. This now is Greg Pearce, the Australian lock forward. Southernwood, the dummy half, the hooker. Watson, the Kiwi international, taking over now, driving down the middle. Good tackling though by Hull Kingston Rovers, Lyman and Sean Ho. Big Carl Harrison, Great Britain international. Last tackle. Expect the kick from Southernwood. And for the first time, Hull Kingston Rovers have the ball in their arms in the shape of Mike Fletcher, the fullback. That's Wayne Jackson, former West Hull amateur. Ho is the dummy half. Gives it to Chris Harrison. Two Harrisons on the field tonight. Carl and Chris. Carl of Halifax in 8 in the blue and white stripes. Chris of Rovers in the red and white. Now Wilson again, the fullback, collecting that kick ahead.
Well, that will depend on the Australian Troy McCarthy for the Rovers. As I mentioned before the game, this Hull KR side, very young indeed. But they certainly won't lack enthusiasm. But McCarthy has to inject himself into the game very early.
Two sides coming into this match after defeats last week. Halifax beaten at Salford. Rovers went down to Castleford. Harkin trying to get the ball away. McCarthy in the way. Good play by the Australian standoff from Rovers. Offside. That was our rule of the week. They have to retreat. Halifax didn't. Referee Tennant has pinned them.
Well, both the hooker there and the prop Bell were caught offside. Southernwood in the picture. It happens so often. You'll see the referee, Ray Tennant, bringing them back. He's looking one way and the other, and you can take your choice from 5 there.
So it gives Mike Fletcher this opportunity. That's the range he has. He's only just inside the Halifax half of the field. And Fletcher, with 22 goals under his belt already, has this first kick at goal. And it's not successful. Just floats away. Mike Fletcher, former Great Britain coach and under-21 international, just missing that early opportunity. So Halifax, as the ball went dead, must drop out from their own 22. And that they do. Right back to the fullback Fletcher again. Swarming tackling from Halifax. Getting roared on by this vociferous Thrum Hall crowd.
They certainly mean business, this Halifax pack.
Can Lyman find a gap? Almost. But Carl Harrison had him, and so too did Southernwood. Good movement from Rovers. That's Paul Fletcher. Stopped in his tracks by Fieldhouse. Now Speckman, the loose forward, hacks the ball ahead. And Warren Wilson has it again for Halifax. Good run that from Watson.
Well, there you notice Halifax playing the ball very quickly. They're catching the Rovers well back in defence.
Fluid movement. The ball dropped though by the big, tall centre Rob Hutchinson.
Well, it wasn't the best pass there by Austin. Hutchinson there looking on, but Austin really was a bad pass.
Big night for these two sides, particularly the Halifax team with so many former Rovers in their side. That's one against the head. Harkin has it, and Rovers have him. Referee trying to sort it out. Penalty to Halifax. Number 7, Wayne Parker, being adjudged here not to have released him after the tackle was completed.
Well, it's just silly to do this in front of the referee. You could hear Tennant saying, release him, let him play the ball. That's a silly mistake.
It means Halifax has made ground. Harkin now. Now Southernwood here. Big Peter Bell. Fieldhouse. He wants to impress on this, his full debut. Here is a month's loan from Oldham, but now a fully fledged Halifax player. And here comes another new signing, Gary Lord. Good run. 6 minutes of the match gone. 0-0. Pierce gets the ball out to this near side to Sharp. But Rovers tackling well, forcing the error.
Well, it's a good job that Lydiate was there because Halifax are throwing the ball around. Greg Austin nearly accepting that pass. But Halifax playing the ball very quickly indeed. They're catching the Rovers defence on the hop and a quick ball out wide. They'll have to get this defence sorted out, Rovers.
Halifax have the ball from the scrum. Rovers will have to defend stoutly here. Southernwood, the ball swept in towards the posts. This is Bell. Good tackling again from Rovers. Southernwood. Now Fieldhouse. He stopped just a metre short. Held up over the line. No try. Good defence from Rovers.
And a good defence, but good run there by the hooker. They really had to be equal to the task. They really fired up this Halifax side. They mean business.
Rovers feed at the scrum. Halifax's big pack pushing them on. Whoa, now then, what's the referee's decision here? Taking a close look at it. Whose ball is it? It's Rovers. Well, that was rugby union style scrummaging.
It's amazing the amount of weight that Halifax have, and in this tackle, look at them go in. Troy McCarthy was the man that saved them. And a relieving penalty to the Rovers. Tennant saying, release him.
There's Troy McCarthy. He's not really built like a stand-up half, is he? When he's rubbing the ribs, obviously took a bang there, and he was the saviour for Rovers on that occasion. The penalty relieves the pressure, takes Hulkingston Rovers up to the halfway line. Big Chris Harrison, an almighty collision between Harrison and Southernwood and Fieldhouse. Rovers organising themselves around the play of the ball. That's Mike Fletcher, the fullback, thundered to the floor. McCarthy now. It's rough, it's tough, and it's competitive here.
There's certainly no love lost in those tackles.
Paul Fletcher has hit the ground.
Here you see Jackson.
It's Jackson, rather.
Jackson taking the full brunt of that tackle. And Fieldhouse really getting involved there.
It was on the last tackle. The kick was hoisted forward, and this time Hulkingston Rovers have strayed offside, just a little too anxious to get into the ball, had to play the ball.
Just a little bit of frustration coming in here. Tennant trying to get back. The Rovers players not making any attempt whatsoever. That's the reason why the penalty was given.
Greg Pearce, the Australian, deposits the ball into touch. Halifax come forward again with Bell. Carl Harrison, Great Britain international, £120,000, club record signing by Halifax. Harkin now Watson. Such an elusive player, this Kiwi international, does well, gives it to Gary Lord. They keep the movement going. That's good play from Halifax. Watson, Harkin, Fieldhouse at full belt. Harrison again. Keeping the ball alive, this is Wilson. Wilson gets the ball again to Hutchinson. Again, the centre drops it. Twice he's dropped it in the opening 10 minutes.
A little bit of nerve there by the centre. He should have taken that one. It was virtually impossible to take the one previous. Here we see it on the replay. With a decent pass, he took his eye off the ball. That's why it went to ground. But these Halifax forwards are really starting to take control of this game. Their second phase of attack, the support play is excellent.
Penalty given to Rovers for apparently holding down in the tackle. So they've made a bit of progress, but they won't make progress with play like that.
Now, it's an amazing thing that even professionals do make mistakes.
Chris Harrison, just a touch too anxious, taking his eye off the ball, watching the man approaching him. It's Halifax's head and feet at the scrum. Harkin has it. Now Sharp. Speckman, the man doing the tackling for Rovers. Pearce. Good driving run. The two lock forwards colliding. And Pearce taking that ball to himself. There's no marker in front of him. My word, he got a bang then too from Dwayne Jackson. Pearce can take it. Harkin, Watson. That's Austin. Greg Austin. Great play. Greg Austin with the first try for Halifax. The man who loves scoring tries. 47 last season. 38 the previous season. Try number 5 for the Aussie of Halifax.
On the Stones Bit of Championship replay, this came about by a wonderful run by the loose forward. Then the switch out wide, Watson. Look at the step here. Excellent play here by Austin. The Australian in underneath for the try. Head on, look how he steps. A most elusive runner. He avoids the high tackle. It's 4 points. Beautiful play. He threw the dummy. The cover defence coming across. He gets underneath the high tackle to take the 4 points.
Former Hulkingston Rovers combination, David Watson and Greg Austin, opening up the door of the Rovers defence for Halifax. And Greg Austin, he just loves scoring tries. 12th minute of the match, first blood to Halifax. Can the Australian Greg Pearce make it an Aussie double act? Goal kicking's been a problem for Halifax this season. This fellow has so far appeared to have solved the problem. Touch judges wave it away. Just faded short of the left-hand upright. Pearce's total stays on 11 goals for the season. Halifax ahead, though, by 4 points to 0. Coming up to 14 minutes gone.
And it was his wonderful run that created that. He sucked in the defence. The Rovers forward was sucked in with that quick play of the ball. He tapped it to himself, made the necessary ground, and the switch out wide produced the try.
Hulkingston Rovers' Paul Fletcher being helped off, looking a bit groggy. Carl Harrison, meanwhile, driving again down the middle. Peter Bell using his weight. The kick ahead. That's one for Graham Cook to chase. Rovers have moved up. Oh, Fieldhouse went a bit high then. And here comes the substitution. Peter Anderson comes on for Fletcher. Fletcher looking very groggy as he was led off the field after that try. 4-0, quarter of an hour of this match gone. Another penalty. Harrison this time pinned for holding down in the tackle. That's Carl on his namesake Chris.
Well, not so much as being holding the man down, Eddie. It was the fact that he never got out of the way so that they could play the ball. The rules deem that once you make the tackle, you have to roll away to allow the play the ball to continue. He nods to the referee. He knows he's in the wrong. And a little bit of respite for the Rovers. Here you'll see it. Makes no attempt to get away.
So another penalty to Hull Kingston Rovers. And Peter Hutton downstairs has Brendan Hill of Halifax with him.
Brendan, pretty good start of Halifax then.
Yeah, well, they've stuck to the task so far. You know, they've a game plan to play to, and just at a moment it's going well for them.
One factor clearly in Halifax's advantage is the weight in the pack. You saw a good shove against them just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, well, they've been trying to brush up on round scrum area. Obviously, with lads the size that they are, we should be shoving just about everybody over.
Still missing your size there. When are you going to be back?
I've had physio on my knee all week from A-team last week, but I should be looking at, to be playing at A-team next week against Leeds, and let's hope we can go from then on back into first team.
Thanks, Brendan. Look forward to seeing you back.
All right, and thank you.
Brendan Hill, who suffered a 6-match suspension following the fighting at the end of the Stones Bidder Premiership Second Division match last season. Then injured, as he says, in the 18, couldn't get his place back. High kick, meanwhile, oh my word, that bounced kindly, and Rovers could have been in there with Lyman. 6 more tackles, and a penalty again for holding down in the tackle on Paul Lyman. Well, Halifax and Rovers, Mike, they must learn the referee's not going to stand for this.
Well, he's proved it, but there, Harkin, he should be in the sin bin. That is a sin bin offence. It's classified as a professional foul. This was an awful attempt there to take the ball. And this could have been at 4 points. Lyman quick to get onto it. And there you see, a little bit further on, Harkin was quite happy to give away these 2 points and not risk giving away 6.
Fletcher, as the war drums go up at Halifax, as the young boys round the ground try and put him off. He's not put off, though. That's goal number 23 of the season for him. And Rovers back in the hunt, 4-2.
Really amazes me. Some of these referees have to get a grip of itself, Eddie. This professional foul situation, the crowd, the viewers at home, they want to see open football.
Bit of news from the dressing room on Paul Fletcher. He was taken there looking very groggy. Apparently he's just got a very bad dead leg. We did need a few people to take him back to the dressing room.
Dead leg, always a problem in rugby league. You need the legs to run in this game. My word, they do. Real slugging contest this between the two packs. That's good running, though. The hooker, Sean Ho. Ball laid back again. Good chasing by Halifax. Hassling the man. Peter Bell now. And yet another penalty. Well, I don't know how long it will take before Mr. Tennant's patience snaps and someone's shown the yellow card, but I'm getting a bit cheesed off with it, Mike, already.
I've already lost mine. Here you see once again, players there, just not allowing him to get it to the Peter Bell. Well, 2 points here. And he's calling the captains, and why not? It's about time.
Paul Harkin and Wayne Parker, the two scrum halves, the two captains, being told by the referee to tell their players to cut it out. Well said, Ray Tennant. Think you can lip read. Once you've made the tackle, get off. That was the message from Paul Harkin to the Halifax boys.
Bit of a laugh, really, to say that it was Harkin that made the offence under his own sticks only 2 minutes previous. But halfbacks can get away with a lot of things in rugby league.
Almost midway through this first half then, and Greg Pearce has this chance to stretch the Halifax lead back to 4 points. His first successful kick of the night. The flags go up. Greg Pearce's 12th goal of the season. Halifax now leads 6-2, exactly halfway through this first half.
Wonderful kick here by the Australian. Lovely stroke of the ball.
Greg Pearce, the number 13 goal kicker, who had a trial at Leeds. Leeds dillied and dallied about whether they wanted him, and then Halifax stepped in when they refused the option on Pearce's service. And he certainly solved their goal-kicking problem, Mike.
Well, I think all clubs realise that with such competition, those 2 points can be vital.
Wilson, the fullback. That's Hutchinson, clung onto that ball that time.
Get off it, hey, get off it!
That's the voice of the referee, Ray Tennant. This is David Watson. Ball laid back to Pearce again. Shapes for the kick. Easily taken by Cook. Good tackling from Mark Preston.
Good positioning there by Cook, the wingman, anticipating the kick, went back.
Preston in the thick of the tackling again there. There's a man with the wind taken out of his sails. Halifax tackling taking its toll. Parker. Now here's McCarthy with a good tackle coming in there from Pearce once more. He's a big favourite here. Parker's kick ahead, and it was good too, despite the attention he received. Just bounced a metre or so in the field of play.
Good kick here and good pressure by Halifax. That's been one of the features of Halifax so far tonight. They really have put the Rovers under immense pressure.
Wilson, full-back, getting out of the way of the tackler. The tackler then was John Lydiard. Now this is Harkin. Halifax captain this season. Austin gives the ball to Preston. Cuts in field, Preston still goes. Oh, high tackle. Preston all right. Referee happy. It was legal. Pearce, this is his 4th game for Halifax. Watson sees a little gap down the middle. The support was there from Lord. Couldn't release the ball. Harkin, Pearce, Fieldhouse drops it. Rovers have it back. Sean Howe, the hooker.
Wayne Jackson to the rescue. He comes here and just knocks the ball, interferes there, so that Fieldhouse couldn't take it cleanly.
Ball comes free. Penalty. Stripping the ball in the tackle. Not allowed. Not this season.
You see on the replay here, the referee adjudged that it was reefed away. The arm was raised, hence the penalty. But I'm just beginning to get the feeling that Halifax are now finding those gaps both down the middle and especially out wide.
Sean Howe restarts. That's Chris Harrison. And John Fieldhouse got a finger in the eye there, I think. Certainly got a bang, holding his head, but Hulkingston Rovers have had their own problems with injuries. Graham Cook, the wing, has been receiving treatment. Peter Hutton's got some details on him.
Cook's in a fairly bad state. He's limping out on that right wing. It's obviously a knee injury, and the physio just hovering around him all the time.
And here's Mark Preston. Preston with the entire Rovers defence behind him. Oh, great try! Oh, and Mark Preston enjoyed that. What a great try that was. Came out of nothing, midway inside the Rovers' half of the field. Rovers chased him, couldn't catch him.
The Stones Bitter Championship replay. Sit back and enjoy this. This is sheer speed, determination. Preston has set sail for the corner. He beats the cover from Fletcher, and that is a sensational try. A mistake here. McCarthy tries to get the ball away. It was good positioning by Preston. He shut their wingman out. The centre, Hallis, didn't have the speed. This man did. That's a great try.
Mark Preston's 5th of the season. Former Wigan man, 57 tries in 84 games for Wigan, and 5 tries in the blue and white hoops of Halifax. Taking the applause of the crowd on that far side. How you move? Greg Pearce then with a 50% record. Difficult kick out in that far touchline. Great kick! No wonder they love him here already. That was a wonderful kick out on the far touchline, and it stretched the lead to 10 points. Halifax 12-2 ahead.
Now then, let's see it here. Actually, just before there. Now, look as he goes away. The speed. There's the fullback going in. Is far too late. He can't stop him, and speed has got the essential necessary to take the 4 points.
Henry Sharp cutting in from the wing. That's Gary Lord. This is not a bad all-round showing, though, from Halifax so far. Hull Kingston Rovers 10 points adrift, and here comes the big men again. Fieldhouse, the ball just behind him. It was forward anyway.
But that's the type of support play. They really have impressed me, Halifax, by backing up the man with the ball. Okay, that pass was just forward to Fieldhouse, but the hooker Southernwood, he's played exceptionally well so far.
Again, Halifax get the big push on at the scrum. They have possession. Wilson just ankle tapped. Here now is Pearce. There are men out wide here. One of them is Sharp. He couldn't get round Bright Sodgy, though. Still Rovers keep going. The ball went back off the mistake from Watson. Still he's going, Watson. Looked like a little short, sharp right there from John Lydiard. Sharp driving towards the line. Look at Watson directing operations from the play, the ball. Harkin, good long pass. That's Lord. Here's another try, and it's Greg Austin again. They're cutting Hull Kingston Rovers defence to ribbons. The weight in the pack and the movement around the play, the ball, slicing big holes in this Rovers defence, and Halifax are playing well.
Lovely pass here on the Stones Bitter Championship replay. Harkin holds it up. The big fella Lord goes through. A beautiful pass out to the centre, and Austin in for his second try. He's just received the pass there. Good support play. We just mentioned that earlier. I'm afraid this Rovers defence is being cut to ribbons.
Greg Austin, he really is a try-scoring machine. That's 6 for this season now. As I say, 47 last season, 38 the previous season for Hull Kingston Rovers. Former Manly, Rochdale, Salford and Rovers star. Try scorers like that are worth their weight in gold. John Lydiard, though, looking a little bit groggy. I thought he put a little short one in, but maybe the short one went in on him, noticing the blood on his temple there. Piers with this conversion attempt. That's another two. Rovers in danger here, Mike, of being left behind.
Unfortunately, yes, and that man in your picture, he's having a real barnstorming game. He's beating everything. Now you see that punch that went in there. Now he's obviously collided with the elbow. That's probably why Lydiot has finished up with blood on his face.
And he's being led away for treatment. Probably a blood bin substitution, and David Bishop comes back for Hull Kingston Rovers. Former Welsh international, his first team outing in 12 months. But that's the scoreline. And Bishop, with his first touch, is being pulled back.
Well, this was good thinking here by the Rovers. They caught Halifax napping there. It went the full 10. And a little bit disappointed. The referee was just checking with his touch judge. He said he wasn't ready. But you've got to admire the Rovers for trying that.
Peter Hutton's been earwigging what the referee and touch judge said.
I think there's a bit of a worry that something was thrown onto the pitch there, and that's what was passed on to the Halifax club.
Well, Rovers will be a bit annoyed about that. However, Halifax back in possession with Fieldhouse offside. Offside against Rovers. But good to see this man back in the fold, David Bishop. He fell out with Roger Millwood at Hull Kingston Rovers last year. He hasn't played since. He's returned after a couple of good A-team showings in the last 2 weeks. And good to see the Welshman back in the fold.
Certainly is, but they will need him. Hull KR definitely needs someone to start showing the way out there.
And David Bishop could well be in that Welsh team to be announced tomorrow for the international against Papua New Guinea next Sunday, a match you can see exclusively here on Sky. But great to see some of those old rugby union stalwarts back in the red jersey of Wales. You can enjoy it and watch it all with us on Sky Sports this time next week. Meanwhile, Halifax not worrying about the international. They're after the 2 points here and playing well. Harkin, lovely long ball. Austin, oh, I thought he was going for the hat-trick. Instead, he's given it to Hutchinson. Great play again from Halifax. Move the ball out wide. Austin, not greedy, not looking for the hat-trick. Set it up on a plate for Hutchinson, and watch it again here.
The Stone Bitter Championship replay. Lovely long ball. Now you see coming in your picture, Troy McCarthy. There he is, just gone out of it. He went for the interception. If you don't get it, you leave the man outside. Austin did the right thing. And Hutchinson in for a good try. But I'm afraid the defence was all at sea. You'll see it more clearly here. There is McCarthy. Come up quickly. He's in no man's land. Thank you very much indeed, says Austin. His fellow Australian has allowed the gap. This man is big enough and strong enough to add yet another 4 points.
Rob Hutchinson, 2 tries against the Kangaroos here last season in the 36-18 defeat by the Australian tourists. Big man for a centre, used his weight and his height and his power to good effect there. To Greg Austin, Halifax have said, try and do it again. He popped one over from the touchline a few minutes ago. But not this time. I think you heard him as he kicked the ball. I think he knew, but look at that scoreline. Halifax 22-2 ahead.
Well, let's see here on the replay. Let's move it along. Now coming on, there's Watson with a big long pass. Now let's stop it there. There's the man. That's the fella that came in. He came in far too quickly. The gap appeared and still the try was scored.
Peter Hutton has some news downstairs on the injuries. Peter?
It's a bit chaotic in the Hull KR dressing room at the moment. They just had to move Mike Fletcher off the treatment table and John Lydiot onto it.
Gary Lord with the driving run. Austin continues the movement. Now it's with Fieldhouse. Good play from Halifax. I think they'll be shooting up the table if they can repeat this every week. Piers. Not being allowed to regain his feet by Hallis. Ball is untidy. Bell picks up. Fieldhouse again. Taken low down. It was a scything tackle. Fieldhouse not too happy with it. Play continues. Harkin. Harkin again. Harrison. They're prepared to move the ball about and run it. Here's the last tackle. Southernwood hoists the midfield bomb. Bounced off number 15, Peter Anderson, and Halifax have 6 more. Good tactics.
Now you saw there Southernwood, after doing the kick, he raced forward to ensure that all his team was onside. Good play by the hooker.
And Halifax just 10 metres short. Fieldhouse again. Now it's with Watson. Jinking coming off both feet, drops the ball though, trying to put the men in out wide. Austin sniffing his hat-trick chance. And Wayne Parker, the Rovers captain, tries to settle the ship.
A very confident Halifax, and why not? They know now that they've got the measure of Rovers. It's going to take a big effort from Hull KR to get back into this game.
4 minutes of this first half to go. Halifax have laid the foundations for a win here. 22 points to 2 they lead. Fieldhouse limping, receiving treatment, but caught offside. And Graham Hallis with the football will kick for touch just to try and relieve the pressure once Fieldhouse has been patched up.
Well, the Rovers coach, George Fairbairn, will have plenty to say, I'm sure, at the half-time break. And he will have lots to say about that. An awful mistake. They elected to try to catch Halifax off their guard by taking a quick tap. This says it all.
Troy McCarthy, the Australian stand-off half. Scrum down, Halifax's head and feed. Ball out with Pearce. Rovers' young side, Mike, it is a real test of their character now as Bell drives down the middle again. We've spent lots of money here at Thrum Hall assembling this pack, and the investment is paying off here tonight in some style. Fieldhouse offside. Referee's whistle sounded. McCarthy will have to bring it back. No, not offside. Didn't play the ball properly.
He said he didn't touch it with his foot. You'll see on the replay, a little bit further on, you'll see McCarthy trying once again. This time, he did get the intercept. Unfortunately, the referee didn't allow play on. Here we see on the replay that he just pushed it back with his hand. It has to be played with the foot.
Chris Harrison must feel a bit like King Canute as far as Rovers are concerned. They've rarely been out of their own half. Such has been the superiority that Halifax have enjoyed here, the sheer territorial domination.
Well, it's been a very good defensive effort by Halifax as well. They really have put pressure on the Rovers' attack.
McCarthy trying to rescue something from this first half. Now Sodji, I don't think we've seen much of him all night. He's running in the wrong direction at the moment. The new of fire, they called him. Not really lived up to the hype. A kick downfield. Warren Wilson clings on for Halifax. Watson.
Really is a difficult task, Eddie, when you've got such a big pack like Halifax have got, and two scheming halves like Watson and Harkin. They really benefited benefiting from such wonderful play by their forwards.
Here's Pearce again, and a big half, the Australian lock. Into injury time in this first half. Here come Halifax again. The pass was just behind Preston. Bishop bundles Preston into touch.
Wonderful pass here by Watson, should I say a bad pass. And Watson got the cartwheel effect.
Graham Cook getting right underneath him. Watson showing the gymnastic skills that you need in modern-day rugby league. Right on half-time. It's been a great half for Halifax. Stoppage time then in this first half. Ball Speckman can go nowhere. Parker. McCarthy. Little gap for McCarthy. That's a good ball to Hallis. Can Hallis get Sodji in? Yes! Sodji touches down despite the efforts of Wilson to force him out. I mentioned he was the newer fire. That's his 6th try of the season. A hat-trick against Halifax in September. And he enjoyed this.
The Stones Bitter Championship replay. A lovely try here. Good play here by McCarthy. Lovely round-the-man pass. The centre, Hallis, did the right thing. Look at him step. He draws in the defence. And at the right moment, Sodji, good play there. He's holding the ball in the left hand to allow his right hand to push off the defence. Lovely long ball. Watch McCarthy. Round the man there is Drew in the centre. Wonderful play. Look as he brings in the defence. Sodji, right hand, defend, and a great try.
Here's the conversion attempt, and it just sweeps wide of the right-hand post. But right on half-time, Hulkingston Rovers have shown that perhaps they're not dead yet in this match. Sodji's 5th try of the season, but it has been Halifax's try. Scoring ability that's taken the eye here. Half-time, 26-2. Here at Thrum Hall, Halifax to restart, and they're in a commanding position at half-time, ahead by 22 points to 6. And the ball bouncing once and going out for a very, very useful kick-off from Greg Pearce.
Well, it's amazing that Bright Sodji just allowed this ball to bounce in front of him. Now, that is amazing. He had all the time in the world to move forward and get there.
Scrum wheels round. Bright Sodji scored that try right before half-time, perhaps thinking of that success then. Scrum is fed. Bishop has the possession for Rovers. And Hulkingston Rovers have begun this second half with only 12 players. Peter Hutton can tell us why.
Wayne Parker's off injured, Nev. He got a bit of an injury at the end of the first half, and they've kept him in there for treatment at the moment, as well as the 2 men who went off in the first half themselves. So they're down to 12 at the moment.
Penalty to Hulkingston Rovers. Hallis deposits the ball into touch.
That was good thinking by David Bishop there. He tapped the ball and played it to himself quickly and caught the Halifax defence. They had not retired.
This now is Wayne Jackson. Rovers trying to rescue something from this second half. Anderson, the substitute, clinging on. Remember, Hulkingston Rovers down to 12 players. A little knock on there from Sean Howard to play the ball. Another mistake.
It's only a little one, but that's enough.
Everyone round the ground saw it. The referee was left in no doubt by the shout from the Halifax supporters. This big Halifax pack running the scrums hands down. Wilson is the dummy half. Strong run again from the fullback. Look at that scrum count. And a couple of those against the head. This big Halifax pack is taking its toll. And that was a knock-on, though.
Another mistake by Halifax. This time the ball going to the ground.
Poor old Rob Hutchinson. That's the third time he's put the ball down.
Once again, though, Eddie, let's not be too unfair about it. The pass wasn't all that good either. Here you see on the replay, and that's the type of crunching tackle, but I just suspect that the Rovers are going far too high. There you see the lock forward. That's the reason why he's gaining attention.
Peter Hutton's got some details on this injury.
Just to say, there's some very worried faces on that Hawkeye bench, because obviously there's nobody who can go back on at all. All three men that have gone off can't come back on again, and now as it looks like Speckman's going off as well, they may have to play 30-odd minutes to 11 men.
Well, real problems then for Hull Kingston Rovers. Speckman, having received the attention of the Hull Kingston Rovers physio, clutching the ribs. No Wayne Parker on the field. So if my maths are correct, that means Rovers are down to 11 players.
And surely this is one of the reasons why they must introduce having 4 substitutes.
Bishop feeding the scrum again. Halifax win one against the head. There are huge gaps for this Halifax team now to exploit. Bell just brushes away from the Australian Anderson, the substitute. Woof, and then in came Wayne Jackson, putting his shoulder to the wheel against Peter Bell. Harkin, Watson. Good stepping from Watson again, but this time Rovers close the gap. George Fairbairn, the Hull Kingston Rovers coach, looking on, must be a worried man. Southernwood gets the ball to Bell. Southernwood is tangling off the ball, but this is good play again. Hat-trick time for Austin. Greg Austin with the hat-trick. Southernwood, my eye was caught by him having a fair old tussle on the floor, but Halifax didn't take any notice of that. They kept sweeping the ball out wide, and Austin did the rest.
Well, on the Stones Bit of Championship replay, it's just a matter of time. 11 men, they just can't keep them out. Austin in for the hat-trick. And during that passage of play, there you see on the floor, Wayne Jackson was also down injured. So in effect, Halifax were playing 10 men. That's the reason why there's such a wide overlap. There's nothing that they can do about it.
Greg Austin, his 5th hat-trick in Halifax's colours. Ran in 4 hat-tricks last season. Another one here tonight. Takes his tally to 7. Loves scoring tries, doesn't he?
He won't get them any easier than that. Unfortunately, a sad-looking Rovers side at the side of the post. Then why not?
They know they have an uphill battle to keep this scoreline respectable. And kicking like that won't help them. With a great kick from Piers, straight between the woodwork. 28-6. And the second half just 6¼ minutes old. Mike, the signs are a little dubious for Rovers here.
Well, there you see the ball moving across. All they have to do is keep it. Let's move it across. Now let's just stop it there. And you'll see that the whole KR side, they're just all pulled in. And why not? They've only got 11 men. It's not going to be easy for them.
Troy McCarthy being spoken to by the referee Ray Tennant. And the last thing that Rovers want now is anyone to back chat or do anything silly and get sent off. They're already down to 11. Now we're in danger here of seeing a bit of a cricket score. And Halifax look in the mood, don't they? 28-6. The men in blue and white hoops lead the Robins from Craven Park on Humberside.
Well, it's just a matter of simple, basic football here from Halifax. They'll use the forwards to bring the defence in close. The long ball out wide. The overlap has to appear. It's that simple.
Peter Bell driving down the middle already. This is Rovers' heaviest league defeat of the season as Southernwood takes over. Gives the ball to Hutchinson. Long striding Hutchinson heading for that whitewash. Rovers having to work overtime to keep him out. McCarthy, he's going to be given 10 minutes in the bin. Oh dear me. Oh dearie, dearie me. And Rovers are in deep trouble now.
Well, that has just changed the game into total farce. There's no doubt about it. McCarthy threw a left in there to start with. He's holding him down. The referee gave them a warning in the first half. Remember, he spoke to both skippers. He'd no option, Ray Tennant.
And Halifax thought they were over for the try, but the Halifax player didn't take the tap penalty on the mark. That's why they're packing down. And that's why Halifax have got this differential penalty at the scrum. Watson. Harkin. Well, there are gaps out wide here, and Mark Preston is screaming for the ball to be sent out wide. They're going back down the middle, and Southernwood has scored next to the posts. Get the slide rules out, get the calculators ready. Rovers are caving in.
Stone's bit of championship replay, oh so easy. Wonderful play by Fieldhouse. He switched the ball back inside, but really, as Eddie called it, the Rovers were screaming to bring the defence out wide. Fieldhouse knew it, so did the hooker. Good support play. There is no one at home. Start making the tea and the scones. It's easy.
Southernwood's second try of the season. And Halifax are preparing to make a substitution. While Greg Pearce takes this conversion attempt from right in front of the sticks. Goal number 5 of the evening for Pearce, added on to try number 6, and 34-6 after only 10 minutes of this second half. Peter Hutton has information on the substitution.
Well, two things. First, the fact that Richard Milner is now on. He's in number 15 onto the pitch. The man who's gone off, of course, is the big prop forward, Peter Bell. One other factor about Hulkear's injury, we've just had confirmation that Paul Speckman, the last one off injured with a rib injury, is not coming back out again. All the players that have gone off can't come back on.
Thanks, Peter. Ian Proctor's just leafing through the record books here already. Our statistician, in 1955-56, Halifax beat Hull Kingston Rovers 68-0. It's their best ever in the league against them. They've got a long way to go for that yet. 68 points. But with 34 on the board, Mike, they're halfway there. They've got half an hour to go.
Well, full credit to Rovers. They'll stick to their guns as best they can, but it just really is no contest from here on in.
Pearce. Shot dead in his tracks by Wayne Jackson. And Halifax have got men out wide here. Hutchinson clings on. Preston's in support. It's try time again. Rovers stripped bare. Sochi couldn't touch him. Try number 2 for Preston. Try number 7 for Halifax. I'm afraid it's being reduced to a farce.
Stone's bit of championship replay, and believe you me, I'll be saying that a lot tonight. The ball inside, it's so simple, it's so easy. Desperation for Rovers. Bishop looks on, there's nothing he can do about it. In for the try. Mark Preston, you'll see the ball come out wide. Good play here by Hutchinson, but what can you do? He did the right thing, he came for him. The fullback knew he had to be beaten. Preston in.
If it was a boxing match, it would be stopped. It's a rugby league match, and it won't be. And Rovers have got to try and stem the tide. You called for 4 substitutes, Mike. That would be the salvation for Rovers. If they had 2 more men on the bench, they could bring them on and level things up. Piers then with this conversion attempt. Kicked well tonight. Not this time. What about the 4 subs rule, Mike?
Well, it's a big question mark that has to be answered now by the Rugby League. This is First Division Rugby League football, the stars of our game, and I'm afraid it's been ridiculed somewhat. I know it's all part and parcel of Rugby League injuries. They have to be fit. But I think the days of just having 2 on the sideline are over.
Well, news on that substitution. Number 14, Jimmy Irvine, on for John Fieldhouse. One man with me at the moment, another Halifax player that's off, is Peter Bell. Peter, a very enjoyable day for you all out there.
Yes, we've, after last week against Salford, we had to get us tackling together, and we've been training hard and moving up and tackling hard, and that's what's paid off today, and we just took them as chances when we got them.
The pack certainly hit them hard early on, didn't they?
Yes, well, the pack's hit them hard, and we're getting the ball from their mistakes and then taking 2 drives and then getting it out wide, and then the backs are doing the rest.
You can certainly prove you can finish as well. The back line that you've got at Halifax is really a strong one.
Oh yes, very fast lads, clever lads as well. Paul's just has to do his work, and backs will take it off his end, score the tries.
And Halifax are streaming forward again. Hutchinson trying to release the ball in the tackle, clobbered by Hallis as he lay on the floor. The ball went backwards. That feeling between those 2 over that, no wonder. Good hands for the long ball out. Wilson drops it, gathers it back in, but it was a knock-on.
Well, little doubt about this long ball out wide. The ball was being projected forward. It is a knock-on, and the Rovers can breathe for a little while at least. I'm sure that Hull Kingston Rovers will show a lot of courage, and I just hope that Ray Tennant, the referee, keeps a tight control. They may lose a little bit of patience, these Rovers boys.
When that ball hit the ground, I noticed Mark Preston held his head in his hands. I rather fancy these Halifax players, Mike, will be thinking of the £25 a try that goes to the leading scorer at the end of the season. They could all do their cause no harm at all here tonight.
Well, wingmen are pretty keen on scoring tries and also by picking up the money as well. But let's see what the Rovers can do. They'll be preying on pride now.
Just another point on that. The £25 a try for the leading scorer, Martin Afire, try scorer extraordinaire, watching this match at home, no doubt. He's in dispute with witness. And Greg Austin, hat-trick hero for Halifax tonight, has been runner-up to him twice. So they could all really do themselves a pound of good. Meanwhile, poor old Rovers try and keep things going. And that's a knock-on. The fullback Wilson was under pressure as he tried to field that bomb and didn't do it, as you see there.
Well, that was an intelligent kick there by Halifax. Sorry, by Hull Kingston Rovers. They haven't thrown in the towel, and it's pleasing to see, Eddie, there at least are trying something, but look at the weight there.
Not seen a pack of rugby league forwards push like that for some time. Bishop feeds the scrum, gets possession. David Bishop back in the Rovers fold for the first time in 12 months, playing against his former coach, of course, Roger Millwood. This is Fletcher. Fletcher scragged to the floor, and scragged it to the floor unfairly. He's got 10 minutes in the bin. That evens it up a bit.
Well, it certainly will help. Irvine bringing him down to the floor, Fletcher. There you can see. Evidently, the referee has called held, and there you see him holding him down. Gave him one for his corner on the way.
Mike Fletcher has obviously taken a look at the scoreboard and he's decided to make it 38-8. But he kicked for goal and he, I suppose, kicked for a touch of respectability, Mike.
And also probably to save a little bit of time there. But that's the farcical situation we are in at 38-8. But a team so far behind takes the kick right in front. But what can they do?
Troy McCarthy ready to return to the fray. The touch judge just checking that he's served the 10 minutes in the sin bin. Sodji collects meanwhile right on his own try line. Halifax having. And McCarthy back on. Now that, what's that, Mike, now? Is that 12 apiece? 12-11?
12-11.
I've lost it, I'm afraid. The 12 men of Halifax against the 11 of Rovers. And it must be emphasised, the only 11 fit players that Rovers have with them now here tonight. Wilson has the ball, goes round McCarthy, sets off on a great run. Ball in field to Preston. Preston just ankle tackle not completed. He's allowed to regain his feet. This now is Harkin. The substitute, Milner in support. Harkin, Halifax still haven't finished. This is Austin. 3 tries from him. Hutchinson going on his own. And Hutchinson touches down. His second try of the match.
The Stone Bitter Championship replay. Another one, another 4 points for Halifax. Perfect pass here. Notice how Austin draws the cover. That's all they can do. It's just a matter of simple rugby league. Hutchinson in for the 4 points. I feel very sorry for this Rovers defence. They have to be sucked in. Harkin, a nice ball. Austin with so much space. You saw McCarthy coming again. That's all they can do, try to go for the intercept. It's an easy try.
Hutchinson second of the night, his third of the season. Poor old Rovers. They've got a very small squad up there at Craven Park. There is George Fairbairn, the Rovers coach. I wonder whether these injuries will have repercussions in the weeks ahead. It's a young squad, and at the moment it's stripped bare. They've conceded 8 tries, they've conceded 5 goals, and they've still only conceded 5 goals. So it stays at 42 to Halifax and 8 to Hull Kingston Rovers. But George Fairbairn, Mike's got a big problem.
Now notice the run here by Wilson. Beautiful display of speed. Got far too much for McCarthy. McCarthy should have launched himself there. But let's understand that this Rovers side, they're having to do double tackling. McCarthy did well to get back to it. He gets a bad knock on the ground there. And look at that. That's just desperation defence. You'll get that all from the Rovers, I'm afraid.
And just to emphasise that point, poor old George Fairbairn, in his first season as Rovers coach in the First Division, my word, what a job he's got in his hands.
Most certainly, and the fact that both of us were down at the Craven Park midweek to watch them train, and really they were a very small side, a young side indeed. Let's hope they can gain some experience from this. They've got to start building.
McCarthy with the run. He's a real trier, going back to the Gold Coast and Wally Lewis in February.
If only the Rovers could get a man like his father, the great Bob McCarthy, a great player in the late 50s and mid-60s for Australia. That's the type of player that I'm sure that George Fairbairn would love.
Sean Ho in possession. Poor old Rovers, they're down to 11 men. And here come Halifax again. Great stepping from Watson once more. Preston's in support. Preston has it. And here's another try for Preston. It's his hat-trick right under the sticks. Rovers simply have no answer to this with 11 players. The pace is catching them out wide. And Mark Preston delighted with the hat-trick.
Stone's bit of championship replay. Good play here by Harking David Watson. Lovely step. He threw the dummy. Unfortunately, Hallis took it. And this is what speed can do for you. He draws the fullback again. Preston has all the speed in the world. And if you're having a pint for every time that Halifax scored a try, you'll have a big smile on your face now. Head on, look at Watson's neat little step. He leaves poor Hallis there. He looks tired, doesn't he? And why not? He keeps his cool, this fellow. The Kiwi draws the fullback. Thank you very much indeed. This is what wing play is all about, but I'm afraid it's far too easy. Far too easy indeed. But he'll accept them.
Mark Preston's first hat-trick for Halifax. It meant that Greg Pearce had a very simple job to add the extra two. His sixth goal of the night. 9 tries now Halifax have run in against poor old Hulkingston Rovers. And the scoreline now is Halifax 48, Hulkingston Rovers 8.
Interesting news on the crowd down here. It's been confirmed as 5,981. That's 4 times the crowd that Halifax Town had yesterday, their 4th division football match.
Yeah, they love their rugby in this part of the world. Remember the glory days of the mid-80s under Chris Anderson, 2 Wembleys and a championship. Long way from those days, Mike, it must be said here at Halifax, but Roger Millwood is assembling a very useful looking side.
Well, it's become very easy for them in the second half, but let's not take away their effort in the first 20 minutes. They have a strong pack indeed, and they really ripped into this young Rovers side. And when I mentioned before that they've got Watson and Harking feeding a good three-quarter line, the tries had to come.
Good catch by Warren Wilson for the high bomb. Henry Sharp in at dummy half.
This is the time, of course, that Halifax coach Roger Millwood would be looking for the team to go through their set moves.
Yes, they've got to be professional. They've got to show no mercy for the opposition, despite the fact that injury has stripped them down to 11 fit players. They've got to keep things going. It's very difficult for Rovers. It's very difficult, too, for Halifax.
Well, it wasn't difficult there. The hooker, Southernwood, just a little one, as we mentioned. That's all it takes. The hardest thing, of course, when it's such an easy game, is that people tend to go individually rather than stick to the team plan. Naturally, that team plan now is to get the ball out wide. But the forwards should be working a move or something like that.
That sort of play does the Rovers cause no help at all. Here come Halifax once more. Concentration must be a problem too for Halifax. They know the game's won. They're winning it in a canter, and that they've got to concentrate, and that will be what Roger Millwood and his captain Paul Harkin's telling them. And here they come again. Sharp, hauled down by Soji. And there's even worse news for Rovers. Jimmy Irvin about to return to bring Halifax back up to 13 men after his period in the sin bin.
Well, this is a period where Halifax now have to try to put a move on. The switches of play. Here we see it again.
Hutchinson again. There's another man who is standing on the verge of a hat-trick. But that tackle from Soji just forcing him to lose his grasp on the ball. 2 tries, Rob Hutchinson. 3 tries, Greg Austin. 3 tries, Mark Preston. And another Hull KR injury there. Wayne Jackson, the prop forward, clutching his knee. Surely they're not going to go down even further. And that penalty hasn't found touch. They're back to full strength. This is Preston. He's after number 4. Kicks the ball ahead. Penalty. It was an incident off the ball. Spotted by the referee.
Yes, he was taken out there. You saw the centre, John Lydiard. This really was a wasted kick.
Halifax have taken a quick tap penalty. They're right under the sticks. Another try. They've hit the half-century mark. And it's David Watson, the Kiwi, who's come up with it. Try number 10 of the evening for Halifax. 52 points for them.
Stone's bit of championship replay. Watson, the Kiwi, decides to go his own. I'll get on the try-scoring list again, he says. And here you see what problems the Rovers have. Only one marker, one going round on the blind side. It's so easy.
David Watson, the New Zealand international, his 4th of the season, Halifax's 10th try of the night. Hull Kingston Rovers must feel like they have been hit by an avalanche. Pearce adds the extra 2. 7 successful kicks for him tonight now. And 54 points to 8. And still over 10 minutes to go. Peter Hutton with more injury news.
Hull KR are now down to 10 men, and it's another bad injury. Graham Cook, the winger, is on the Hull KR bench. His right knee is clearly gone. He was down well behind play when that try went over. Cook helped from the field, hobbling to the bench, and that's where he's staying.
Well, Hull Kingston Rovers will remember this night for all the wrong reasons. They welcome David Bishop back. They concede over 50 points, and their injury list grows and grows. And here's another try on the way, I think. Yes, Austin, he's got 3. Here's number 4. It's cruel to watch. It's so cruel. The Halifax supporters aren't complaining.
Stone's bit of championship replay again and again. Wilson showing so much speed. But let's not be unfair to the Rovers side. They are completely out on their feet. Speed takes it all. The substitute there. That was Irvine. And on it goes to the centre. In for yet another try. He knows it's so easy. And maybe he is thinking of that £25 for each try. Maybe this is his year.
Greg Austin, his 4th of the night. He's doubled his tally for the season now. That's 8 this season for the Australian centre. And Greg Pearce from again in front of the sticks makes it 8 successful kicks. And I mentioned earlier on that 68 points that Halifax ran in against Hull Kingston Rovers in the 50s. It's well within their reach now. 60 points to 8. Mike, it should be stopped on the grounds of cruelty, this match.
For once, I'll agree with you, Eddie. Just this once. It really is a bitter disappointment.
Well, the record books really are coming out now. If Halifax do score 68, that was also their heaviest ever defeat for Hull Kingston Rovers. So it is a dreadful night to be a Robins fan here in Yorkshire. And here they come again, Halifax. They're in again. Wilson with the pace. Hallis is after him. Good tackling from Hallis. And that's saved a certain 4 points, that last-ditch effort from Graham Hallis on the fullback Warren Wilson. They're not throwing the towel in, the 10 of Rovers. Credit them for that.
A lot of courage displayed by the Rovers side, but they really are out on their feet. What can they do? Look at that. They can hardly move forward. It's been all defensive effort. You must remember they've been trying to cover so much ground to keep Halifax at bay.
Two bits of news down here on the touchline. One about the Halifax substitution. Peter Bell just there on the touchline at the moment. He's preparing to go on for the scrum half Paul Harkin. The other amazing thing down here is about the Hull KR fans. They're singing their hearts out. They're not going home, which I'm sure would be a fine temptation with 60 points against your side.
Yes, they've come a long way to support their team tonight. Paul Harkin, the captain of Halifax this season, about to be replaced by Peter Bell. That really is rubbing salt in, isn't it, as far as Rovers are concerned. They're down to 10 men. They've no one left. They're being pushed backwards by this big pack. And Halifax have got men on the bench in reserve to come on. McCarthy again trying to force the pace. Milner has collected it, given it to Pears. Pears has given it to Watson. Watson's jinked in field. Rovers can't lay a hand on him. Now they can, but he still manages to release the ball. Henry Sharp. Sharp's on the score sheet too. His first tonight. But Troy McCarthy having words to say. He's beginning, I think, to lose his rag, the Australian. And no wonder. This is a massacre.
On the Stones bit of championship replay, it's a case of spot the defender. Look at the poor Rovers side. They're being ripped apart by this Kiwi. Throwing dummies, sidestepping. He's thoroughly enjoying this. The Rovers are trying to get there. They get 3 men there. Can you imagine what it's like out wide when you've got 3 men having to go into a tackle? And here you see Sharp collecting the 4 points. Look at them trying and struggling, this Rovers defence. There was 5 men coming across. They are just completely out on their feet. He's mesmerising them. They don't know where they are. It's like a punch-drunk boxer. Look at there, 3 men. Let's get it out wide. The option was, well, he could have gone one way, the other way, inside. So easy again.
Henry Sharp, his first. That's the round dozen for Halifax. It meant that Greg Pearce had this conversion attempt to make it 66, but not clickety-click tonight. Yes.
Well, they've still got a long way to go to beat the Australian record, which I might say that I signed on with a club called Penrith on the Wednesday in England, and Penrith lost to Manly by 70 points to 4 on the following weekend.
It's the story of your life.
And you think that they're having bad luck.
Peter Bell back in the action. Takes 3 to bring him down. Poor George Fairbairn can do nothing on the bench to help his team. He will be anxious now for the full-time siren to end the agony. Bell in support. Halifax swarming forward again. Wilson's with him. So too is the substitute, but it was a forward pass. Was Milner.
Well, was it a forward pass? Pearce pass inside. It looked okay to me, but I'm not going to argue. And I'm sure that everyone witnessing this thrashing was quite pleased that yet another 4 points wasn't going to be deposited in the in-goal area of the Hull Kingston Rovers side.
This time a Halifax player receiving treatment. It was Roy Southernwood who was receiving the treatment as Hallis sets off on a wing and a prayer down this touchline. McCarthy gives it to Peter Anderson. Anderson, credit to Rovers. They haven't thrown the towel in, but the ball's gone to ground. A penalty Penalty against Halifax for stripping the ball away in the tackle. This time they run it. Bishop, long pass, finds Mike Fletcher. Fletcher's kick ahead. Sharp hacks it dead.
Well, full credit to Rovers, but that really was a wasted kick on the first tackle. They could have held on to the ball and at least consumed these precious last seconds. But I can assure you that if Rovers did get over for that try, it would have brought the loudest cheer of the night, I'm sure.
Still over 2 minutes of the agony to go for Hull Kingston Rovers. 64 points to Halifax, 8 to Rovers. Rovers in possession. Bishop. McCarthy. Can't go anywhere. There's number 15, Milner. He unloads to McCarthy. McCarthy again. Anderson. Tackled by Milner. Turnover after 6 tackles. Preston has the half the length of the field to go. He has the legs. Rovers won't stop him. It's the baker's dozen. He's under the post. It's 68 points. And with the conversion to come, it's a record-breaking night for Halifax here at Drum Hall.
Stone's bit of championship replay. Very simple again. They just have to move the ball out wide. Preston, the ex-Wigan winger, didn't get as many chances as this at Wigan, and probably not as easy. And that just goes to show the class and the speed, but really it's against no opposition. Look at the space. We have yet to see a red and white player come into the picture. Still no one there. As I mentioned before, there's the first one coming. Second, it's to no avail.
4 tonight for Mark Preston. Pearce is under the posts with this conversion attempt. It's 70 points to Halifax. A record score against Hull Kingston Rovers. And we're in stoppage time, and if the timekeepers are kind, they'll blow the siren and end this Rovers agony.
It's a little bit like that film, They Shoot Horses, Don't They? The agony continues.
Bishop trying something innovative. Didn't come off for him. Here's Pearce. Rovers are out on their feet. Here's Hutchinson. Now Milner for Halifax. That was Irvin. He fed Watson. Watson's given it to Austin. Austin's chipped over the top. Here's another. Here's try number 14. Austin makes it 5 for him on the night. And in stoppage time, the agony goes on and on and on.
The giggles, the smile say it all. Watson inside. They know they have not got a fullback back. There's just no one there. You can't blame them. Austin, all the time in the world. Oh, dearie me. What a picnic. Head on. There you see The fullback having to come into the line. He has to be there. Otherwise, gaps would appear even more. This guy's got plenty of class. He realised no one was at home and in for yet another try.
Takes his season's tally to 9. This could be the 10th goal of the night for Greg Pearce, and is. There's £5 on offer to the leading goal kicker each season too. 76-8. Thankfully, it's been brought to an end. A record-breaking night for Halifax, but Rovers reduced to wreckage by injuries and ending the match on the lower end. 5 tries for Greg Austin.
Halifax, 5 tries for Greg Austin. You must have enjoyed that second half.
Yeah, especially against the old club and that, and it was quite enjoyable, yeah.
But clearly you've had a successful couple of years over here. How much does it matter to you, the top try scorer in the season?
Oh, it'd be good to score tries in the first season. There's a couple of certain directors that thought I couldn't score tries, but I think I proved them wrong tonight.
They certainly like you round here. How good do you think your Halifax side are? How well do you think they can do?
We play pretty well at home. We're just struggling a bit away from home at the moment, but a couple of good signings through the week in Gary Lord, and that's made a difference, and hopefully we can get our away record a bit better.
Thanks a lot, Greg.
Thanks, mate.
Big beaming smile from Greg Austin, no wonder. 5 tries for him, 4 for Preston, 2 for Hutchinson, Southernwood, Watson and Sharp. Pearce kicked 10 goals, 76-8. We saw what it was at half-time. 10 second half.